Holding. Holding. Shimmy. Hold into place. What's up, guys? I'm Tori.
And I'm Loren. And we're back for season 2, wondering, does
anybody care?
You know, at least a couple do by now.
Some of you do.
Dude, welcome back.
Season 2, new setup.
That's what I'm most excited for as of right now for our season 2 level up.
I agree.
We got the mic stands. We got some lighting situated.
We got a real fucking camera, not my iPhone.
We got a real camera. Hopefully that's going to make the quality better. And my favorite addition are portraits.
We each painted the other person. And you know what? They're not the worst in the world.
You know what? There's somebody. It might not be us buddies, but there's somebody.
This is possibly a stroke patient, and that's okay.
Okay, look, I just need to put my 2 cents in about my thought process behind her portrait. Obviously, I painted hers. She painted mine.
Shout out, girl.
And the inspo pic that we were looking at, Tori had her, it was like a side profile, right? Because we were both kind of like in on each other, like smiling at the camera. She has an incredible jawline, this woman over here. People,
oh my God, thank you.
People literally pay so much money to get the jawline that this bitch is just like born with.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been gua shaing for 6 years now, and I do think that has something to do with it.
No.
Every day in the shower, I gua sha.
Definitely is doing something.
Thank you so much.
But that's what I was trying to accentuate her beautiful jawline, and then I just didn't blend it out right. And so it just looks a little off, but we love a Picasso.
Exactly.
We love
exactly.
We love an abstract.
It's giving just a little abstract, but you can tell. Like I said, I fucking love the hair. I'm going to take that color in to my fucking
That was
hair
the best
sis.
blending of the day for me.
It
I
was
mean,
great.
honestly, that and the skin color, I think I got pretty like,
Yeah.
I gave you an olive undertone a little bit.
For sure.
Me
You're
over
straight
here.
Irish.
I mean, I know I'm white, but Jesus Christ.
And those eyes have seen some things.
Literally just like, wait,
like
do I look like her?
Raven Baxter when she gets visions and that's so Raven.
Into the future, I can see. No, yeah. And they look good.
Like I said, it's not us, but they are people, and I don't do art in that way. My hands are useless. If you know, you know. So I was actually very impressed.
No,
myself.
Like, I was actually shook because you are an extremely artistic person in so many
different
ways. But like hand to paper, not necessarily one of them. I was expecting a stick figure. I'm not gonna lie.
And honestly, I went out, started to do your head, and I was like, you know what? This actually is like not bad. Because I was like, Loren, do you have a pencil? Because I was stressed. And she was like, no. And I was like, shit.
We're freeballing this.
So I did just a little bit of black paint, and then I got it wet, and then I stenciled it like that.
Nice.
And I think that really helped.
No, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
I did mine, instead of paint, I just did it with water on the brush.
Yeah.
That way I can kind of see the outline, but
yeah.
To each their own process.
It was fun.
It was very fun.
It was fun.
But yeah, I'm loving the new setup. We obviously don't know as of now how the lighting's going to turn out, but I really hope that it's going to look good.
We'll see. We shall see. It cannot be worse than anything we did in season 1, but also if you remember our first test run, our first social media posts.
They're blue.
They're so bad.
They're literally blue, bro.
The audio is from our iPhones.
Yeah.
It's already a level up.
All we're doing is improving. This is why I love you. Just your positive mentality about shit like this. It's fucking top tier. But it's so true. And that's like one thing, just going to other artists that we also watch, we enjoy, like whatever. I love seeing somebody like level up from each stage of their career, their path, whatever it is. Like, one of my favorite things to do is literally scroll all the way down to their page, if it's like on social media, or just kind of like learn about their lore.
Yeah.
And be like, it's so much more relatable when you see that someone's literally starting from like this ground level and they're continuously working on themselves and building themselves up in that way.
1,000%.
And like, that's truly what we're doing right now. So
exactly.
I think it's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
like it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm proud of us. It's coming along. all we can do is try to be better than the last thing we did.
Exactly.
And that's what we're doing.
That's on life, baby.
And that's on life. And that is like a perfect into, because like it's August, which is crazy.
August.
Crazy. There's only 4 months left in 2025. I'm turning 30 in 2 months. That's nuts. Can't wait.
So excited. Shout out Croatia.
Shout out Croatia. If there are any beautiful men watching this right now that live in Croatia, hit me up.
And let's not to like put you on blast too much, but we do already know there's some because you set your Hinge, which was genius, to Croatia.
Yeah.
So you could already start like matching with people or just kind of seeing like what the options are.
Exactly.
And I know there was at least one for sure that you were like, okay.
There were a few. Yeah. I will be honest with you guys. Listen, I personally am here for short kings. I really am. It's part of my new evolved era. But I will say, when I set my Hinge to there wasn't a man under 6'2", and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good. I'm gonna pack my heels. This is
Let's go." So excited for you.
Yeah, so excited for that. But like, August is always like a weird, really big reflection time for me. I always like to like just reflect back on this time, and like, we started meetings for this back in April, which is crazy, and we both were like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Like, you had just quit your job, and like I had just put my notice in for my like corporate day job, even though it wasn't, but that was my pipeline job to like getting me into the corporate world. Yeah. And it's very cool it's just fun to reflect back and kind of see why we started it all and kind of where we're at now.
Yeah. This show in general has been just such a good like beacon, I guess you could say, for me to continue going back to a point of self-reflection, essentially. Yeah. And it's been such a like crazy evolution because like you said, we did start this in April, basically, like where we were getting really serious about it, like setting weekly meetings, writing everything in like our Google Docs that we share and whatnot. And it was like a perfect timeline in the sense of when I quit my job. This was a project that I felt really in tune with, very excited about, that I was able to really like throw myself into creatively, time-wise, and all my effort. And that was really like my MO when I had originally quit my job was, all right, I'm taking myself completely out of this corporate space where I feel like for the past basically 8 years, my time like working in this, that I've had to really like stifle a lot of my creative energy and really just kind of stifle like myself in general. Like everybody that's in corporate knows how it is. You kind of have to like sever yourself, shout out severance, and kind of put on this facade, almost like code switch in a sense when you're there.
It is, yeah.
And so now that I'm taking myself out of that ring very intentionally, I want to match that intentionality with throwing myself into the creative space, things that bring me joy, things that make me happy, all with completely like detaching from the outcome of any of it. Just doing it for the sake of finding joy, peace, happiness within it.
Detaching from the outcome is like the most important part.
The biggest thing. And so that's kind of like when we started this project, that's very much where I was. And from that time, how many months has it been now? Like 4 or 5 months? Yeah, 4 months at this point. That's really what I've been hyper focused on doing. But I do think it's interesting now that we're coming into this like second half of the year, or I mean like last portion of the year, I should say.
Quarter 4, baby. Q4.
I'm trying to get rid of that shit now. But now that we're like kind of coming into this last part of the year where I feel like I've really come back into myself in a lot of ways through doing this like experiment on myself of just like letting go of outcomes and throwing myself into things that I enjoy. And now it's interesting because I'm kind of like, I'm a lot more tapped in with myself. And I think now I'm really in this space where I'm ready to start like fine tuning the direction I want to go into next.
So what is that? Just where you're at now, very beginning of that next step, what do you think that fine tuning looks like? Like what areas?
So one thing that I for sure am interested in investing a lot more time and intention into is this project, because I do really think that this has the potential to grow and expand even further. Like it's already been crazy to see just how, like we were saying, how far we've come from those first few videos to now.
Yeah.
And I just, and what our last episode was saying to our therapy episode, just like how tapped in we are to like the creative collective at large. Yeah. And I'm very interested to see where this continues to grow into. So like, I absolutely want to continue like putting my time and energy into this project to see where it goes. On top of that, like a project that I've always been very interested in is like opening my own business. And I do have some ideas on what I want to do with that, how I want to do it. But I basically like sat down the other day and I wrote down like all of the stepping stones that I can take in order to start growing myself into that. And so the first step, essentially, like I have a goal set for myself for August that I start working at a similar type of business. That way I can kind of start learning from the ground up how this business works, because it's a local business, and how they kind of were able to get like their business off the ground, and like the steps that they took, and just basically like go into this and be like a learner and try to understand how I can expand myself in that way.
Love that.
So I feel like those are the main ones. And, you know, I've obviously been really into like dance and ceramics and just these other types of creative outlets. So continuing to like grow and expand with those things as well. Yeah. It's very interesting. There was a moment where we're working at the comedy club, as we mentioned before, where we kind of like went through a lull, like a slow season, money-wise.
To put it lightly.
And in that moment, like in one of those moments of, like, not to say that I regressed or anything, but there's always going to be ebbs and flows of people's growth and whatnot.
Exactly, yeah.
And
it's
like,
not linear.
Yeah. And so like when you are kind of faced with those adversities, just for me in this particular situation, kind of slipping a bit into like a lack mentality, just in terms of like finances. Yeah. And so like when I was going through that, like it was a small blip, but when I was going through it, I was like, okay, let me just get on to like LinkedIn and like Indeed and whatnot, and just kind of see like what other maybe part-time jobs I could get while I'm doing this, so I can still like integrate myself into all these other creative avenues that I'm mentioning. And it's crazy because even just like getting onto any of those sites, the feeling that I get like in my body is just so visceral. Like it's honestly crazy. Yeah. And that's like one thing I've also really been trying to fine tune and tap into during this whole process, is like really listening to my intuition and to not put it on the back burner as I have in the past, because I feel like I have to get to one thing or another. Yeah. So just like even in that moment being like my intuition, like I'm having a whole body reaction to just this one act. Like I know that this is not the path that I need to be on right now, at least. Yeah. And so, I feel like all that to say, like this is kind of the new transition that I'm in from when we started this project, from when I quit my job in general. And it's just been a really exciting path that I feel like I've been on. Yeah. And I do really feel like I'm finally like leading myself through like very intentional connectiveness with myself, if that's a word. Connectivity with myself.
Anything can be a word if you say it competently enough. My whole life.
So yeah, it's been really exciting, and I'm even more ecstatic just to see kind of like where this continues to lead me, this project, everything. Yeah,
I agree. Kind of just going back to what you were saying about like the slow season at CAP and how you had felt like a little bit of regression in like your mindset. It is interesting moments like that, because like I said, like healing, not like I came up with this thought, but healing isn't linear. Of course. And so like you can go light years ahead of where you were, but then something will bring you back. And like that's the universe being like, okay, you say you don't want the stability of a corporate job. So now you're in this job where you're getting to experience all these creative outlets. But that also means sometimes it's going to be tight. And we're not going to be able to eat out. And we're really getting creative with our meal preps and stuff like that. And like that is a part of the game. And it's the universe being like, you say you want it. Here's the shittiest part about that lifestyle.
Exactly.
And the fact that you were able to see that and be like, oh, that's what this is. And also get through it is like just, again, a testament to like listening to your own body and your own intuition. Yeah. And like, I always say this, but like riding the lazy river of life and just like succumbing to the flow of whatever fucking way the river is going. And sometimes
it's so true.
You're drowning, but you're like, this is so much fun. Exactly. At least I'm not clocking in at 8 a.m. You know what I mean?
No, it's so, it is so true. Like, I do love that analogy, that the lazy river analogy that you turned me on to. Like, it's seriously so perfect. It's great when you're like, just feeling good in whatever moment of life you're in, but it's actually so helpful when you are going through with the shit, like you're really like in it.
Exactly.
And then if you like, because both of us obviously use humor to get through struggles, anger, sadness. Like we use humor a lot for that kind of thing.
I use humor for everything.
Which we'll talk to our therapist about it later.
But I had a therapist for a long time. She was fine. Shout out my
but all that to say, like when you do have those things to anchor on that snap you out of that unconscious like narrative that you have within yourself that you like grew up with, this, that, and the other. It really does help snap you back into the reality of like, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I am choosing this path. And like really just letting it go, because you know deep down within yourself, like things are always going to flow to you with ease. And sometimes what's flowing to you with ease is a lesson to test, like to test yourself and to really see like, is this where I want to stand right now? Is the work that I'm doing right now really like sticking with me? Like there's so many layers to it, whether it's on the positive or the negative side, you know? So man, lazy river of life, baby.
And
just let it flow.
And it's taking us for a fucking ride sometimes, but it's fun.
What about you? Like from April, I mean, obviously I know there's been a lot with your job stuff outside of the club. But like, where have you kind of landed from April to now? You know, in your reflections.
I feel like in this whole process, because I've been taking classes at Austin Community College for like very sporadically for a couple years now. And like in this process, it's fun to see how, oh boy, Cameo.
We love him.
Smoocher, be so fucking for real. I might love bug. If you want to sit right there and be Gargoyle Kitty for the rest of the show,
I would be so happy.
Yeah, brother. But it's been very rewarding and very cool to like today we got a real camera and we set that up and I rented that gear from a real place in Austin that you can let like actual filmmakers are renting from, you know, and it was like all these resources and things I've learned are like coming into like a culmination in this project, and that's really rewarding to see. So it's like it's a good momentum to be like, okay, I can keep going, and also like we can do this on our own. Like truly we're doing this on our own. And that is like, it's very rewarding in that way. It makes me, because I'm at that weird time in like the year where I do have like a lot of reflection going on and kind of like you said, like with my birthday and everything, like what do I want my 30th year to look like? And I like the trajectory that I'm on. So just keeping up with doing that. And I'm TAing another class this year, which I'm really excited about because it's like, that is becoming my new day job than the one that I just quit. And like, that is me constantly getting to work with cameras and lighting and film. And that is what my day job is. And that is exciting because I'm just going to keep learning more. And there's always something I'm going to take from that as a like assistant teacher. And I'm very excited for like that level or like that next thing. I always like growing up when I was a kid, being a teacher was like the first job I wanted to do. But also like once I became a teenager and like really started to get into movies and TV, I was like, no, I want to do that. So it's like a weird thing where they're like coming together, and that's kind of cool. I was thinking about that the other day. And so I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I think the thing I'm most excited about is Most excited for, about. Does that make sense?
Most excited about is.
Yeah.
Or most excited for. Choose one or the other.
I'm like, that sounds so weird. I think the thing I'm most excited about it though is this project, like similar to you. There's like, we're already entering, I would honestly say phase 3, because phase 1 was like all the planning.
Getting it ready.
And then phase 2 was the recording, and now we're like recording season 2. Mm-hmm. And like just the next steps that we like kind of talked about last night on like what we wanted to do with the show is fun and exciting. And I'm just obsessed with you. He loves to be in the middle of a gab session between really two girls. He really does. And it's just fun to kind of see where the possibility of where it could go. And like we've said 1,000 times this episode already, like we're just getting better and better at this. And so if we just keep going strong like we've been doing, who knows? Like what? Yeah. And again, it's attaching yourself from the outcome, but it's also so rewarding to just keep getting better at it. And like, if nobody was watching, that's fine because I'm like, we're having fun.
Exactly.
And that's cool. Like, that's awesome.
No, I couldn't agree more. Like, I feel the exact same way, just in terms of we are still very detached from the outcome. Yeah. We know, like, just say if we did have a goal for this to become like very successful, blah, 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 blah. Like, we know we still have a long way to go for that to like be a reality. Yeah. But we are like, both of us are just so into this in the moment as it is. Like, we're finding so much joy, so much like rewarding feeling from it, I guess you can say. Yeah. That in itself is the reward.
Exactly.
And on top of that, the fact that you and I get to do this together, I think is what really is pushing us to continue on with it as we are, like, so consistently. Yeah. Because, like, that's been a whole other thing, in my opinion, where we've done such a good job of keeping our, like, friendship and then keeping this, not necessarily separate, but being able to, like, healthfully integrate them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because whenever we had started this project, we literally wrote, like, a funny little contract between the two of us to, like, you know, if this ever comes in between our friendship, if this ever basically becomes a problem for, like, what really matters, which is our friendship, then fuck it. Enough. Like, we're gonna be done. Yeah. You know? But I think more than anything, it's almost made our friendship even stronger than I expected. You know what I mean? Because we're, like, really learning how to communicate, how to compromise, and then just the whole really fun part about it, just like bouncing ideas off each other. We're both being able to be so creative and like our different ways and together. Like, it's been just so sick. And that, like, for that. So yeah, I just, whatever fucking comes of this, as we've said a million. Yeah. That's not the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's not the point. So how have you been feeling about, like, the parasocial relationship of it all, like, in terms of people in our life, how have you been mentally kind of thinking about that? Because now I feel like people obviously know us on a much deeper level. Yeah. People that are, like, watching more consistently, obviously. Yeah. So how have you kind of been, like, mentally coping with that, or even, like, thinking about it in general? Yeah. Because I think it's been an interesting element of it.
For sure. I agree. I think for me, a lot of it, buzzword of the show, is detaching from it. This isn't, like, me on this mic is not a character at all. Like, it's so super me, but it's also, like, I am so many layers and so many facets that, sure, you can watch me on this and you know a lot of stories and, like, lore, but you don't know everything and, like, the deepest of stuff. So it's a lot of just being, like, kind of like letting it just roll. Like, sure, haha, that's funny, you know that about me. And that, I don't know, I have a very weird, like, peace with it. I do not, it doesn't really bother me. It hasn't been any, like, weird thing where somebody said something, like, mean.
For sure.
Which I think would be, like, an asset that would change it a little bit. Yeah. And I'm sure that will come. Like, Mr. Boyski do. He loved. He said, don't touch me.
You're the one on me, bitch.
Literally.
Fine, let me just sit like this then.
Get your attitude right or go to your room. He do. It's because Quincy's bopping around.
I swear to God, you motherfucker. I'm, like, all awkward now. Anyway.
You can definitely kick him off.
Bitch.
He's so dramatic. But yeah, honestly, it hasn't really been And I guess because it is like so small scale, like just the smallest of scales, that it's not really been like a lot of the people that are watching this know a lot of those stories already. For me.
That's fair.
And the ones that don't, I'm like, okay, well now you know another like funny story about me.
Yeah. No, I think that's actually a really good point, because this is one thing that we have talked about going into season 2 is for season 1, it really was more of just like kind of some fun background stories for both of us, like people just getting to know us a little bit more, like that didn't already know us really.
Yeah.
And now going into season 2, I think we are like, our intention is to just get a little bit more like a layer deeper, I guess you could say. And so yeah, I think for season 1, same. I haven't really thought like much about it.
Yeah.
I do think it is interesting because maybe like these are, for some of the people at least, it's like, yeah, you didn't know that about me, but now you do.
Yeah.
And there is just like a smidgen of disconnect, because now I don't necessarily know that person as deeply. So that's like a slight, like, just the parasocial relationship of it all.
Yeah.
Not a big deal though, but I find that just a fascinating like mentality.
Yeah.
Because when you blow it out into a much bigger scale, like people that have a huge platform, like they definitely experience that on a much like bigger level.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's just an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
But I do, like, for me, I think I'm in this interesting mindset right now where going into like a layer, 2 layers, 3 layers deeper is gonna feel more exposing for me, you know?
Especially like, because when we were kind of talking about stuff we want to talk about in season 2, and we had talked about like maybe dating and relationships, like that's like there's a lot that's going to be like, ooh, this is harder.
Yeah. And it's definitely like that. I feel like maybe even some like family dynamics.
Yeah.
Just like maybe more personal thoughts or like things that we've experienced too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting kind of exposing ourselves in a like more vulnerable way in that sense.
I agree.
Especially like, and I think this is something that I need to work on, but in terms of like detaching from people that I know are going to be watching this and like how they're going to perceive what I'm saying for some of that. Yeah. Because I think like that is something about me is, unless I feel very close to you, I typically like don't necessarily show that deeper side of myself.
Yeah.
Like we're both, I think, really good at keeping it light, keeping it fun, keeping it like, you know.
Yeah. But we also have that element of keeping it
very deep.
So deep.
Yes. Yes. But for whatever like protection or whatever the reason is, like, it's not that I have a problem sharing that with people, but I just don't tend to unless I do feel closer.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think this will be another like great layer deeper in terms of just
it's like even more exposure therapy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which I think is like a perfect to talk about like our book club that we wanted to do for season 2.
That's great.
So I brought it. It's called
perfect.
Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. We've both already read it once. I've read it. You read it a lot more, but I read it once. And I think this is another aspect of like a whole deeper level of vulnerability that we'll have to share.
Yes.
Because of the points this book already gets in. Like it gets into alone and makes you think about, and then sharing that
definitely
is deeper. Our plan is to read it through the season. We'll do another like 9 episodes, probably 10, and then probably do like its own book episode.
Yeah.
Where we talk about that.
Definitely. So if you guys want to read it along with us, we'll probably also just be dropping like us discussing some of it either in the episodes or just like some as social posts as well. So we'll all be able to kind of like talk about it and engage. But I literally cannot recommend this book enough. It's really shaped like my understanding of reality, of consciousness, of just like
your thoughts,
who we are in the world and what that even really means. I feel like you can classify it as a spiritual book, but I would definitely say like no matter what your viewpoints are on like spirituality, religion, anything like that, there's definitely a lot that you can learn in it across the board. And it's very applicable to any one of those categories. Like whatever you want, like whatever you believe, just insert plug and chug into it. And like it definitely still ties it in beautifully. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to read it again.
Yeah.
And to be able to really like discuss it with you, because
we haven't really discussed.
Not much.
Yeah.
So being able to discuss it with you and whoever else wants to like engage in the conversation, I think it's going to be really helpful and hopefully impactful for everybody. So
I agree.